My name is Rem Korinkin with Donnie Peters alongside me in the booth. We'll be here with you for the entire Last Chance series. We're taking Sunday off of streaming, but other than that, we'll be with you until next Thursday. As Nick Schulman makes the call, defending his big blind with King 3 off. Heads up between the two biggest stacks at the table, and Jack 3-10 gives Schulman a pair of threes, but more importantly, Samao with the open and the straight draw. Donnie, is there any significance in that pair of threes for Schulman?
I mean, yes, you connected with the board. You know, it improves your hand. You're not just being put in a spot where you have a, a king high. I think it's enough to continue here. This type of texture, I think Samao's probably going to be firing quite often. So I think you're going to peel one if you're Schulman. Evaluate kind of where you're at on the turn, depending on what Samao does as well. Ideally, you can just kind of get to some sort of cheap showdown and you win.
Schulman check call the bet up 110K. Action now back on Samao on the turn. Still looking at just king queen high, but definitely a board that perhaps favors him to continue blasting.
Yeah, and I think these two players in particular, are deep enough that there can be some play.
Wow.
I mean, this is just a beautiful card here.
Broadway for Samao on the river. Schulman first to act. Hoping for a cheap showdown here, but Samao is definitely going to charge him. The Brazilian pro weighing his options here with 660 in the middle.
Yeah, just depending on how big he wants to go, how greedy he wants to get. 660 out there, and that looks like it's
585. I'm sorry, 585.
Yeah, just about pot here. So
Samao with 7.7 million in career earnings. Putting out nearly a pot-sized bet here for Schulman.
10 seconds.
Wow, and Nick Schulman pulls the trigger in a massive way.
Oh, you're right.
Samao with the nuts, just verifying, makes the call. And João Samao with an enormous double up after a Nick Schulman misstep. Just goes for the all-in check raise on the river. Donnie, what did we just witness?
I mean, all the heart from Schulman.
10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Action folds to Lee in the small. Moves all in, and Schulman with 6 is going to snap it off. We're going to have an all-in showdown here. It's Lee's tournament life on the line. King, queen versus sixes. Donnie,
Looks stressful.
is this what you're supposed to feel like with the king, queen?
I mean, he was ready to pull his hair out.
All right, so we got the small pair versus the big cards. 2.8 million in the middle. Whoever wins this is going to be a real contender and jump into second in chips. And Jack 8-4 keeps Schulman in the lead. Lee looking for a king or a queen. Backdoor straight also available to him. Schulman 6s still out in front. 4 on the turn is going to keep it that way. Lee now down to just 6 outs. Very calm as he awaits his fate. The river is the 10 of clubs, and that'll do it. Win Lee will be our 6th place finisher as Nick Schulman to his direct left collects all those chips.
As we see McEwen here, his turn to get his money in from the button. 550K for him.
Oh, wow. The snap call from Bryce Yockey.
Classic.
Classic race situation here.
Yeah, we should save a dinner on this one.
3
As it
versus
cancels
ace
out.
king.
McEwen slightly ahead with the pocket pair. Both stacks.
Run it twice.
3
Or
times.
no, first board
Heavily.
doesn't count.
Two ice
First
twice, but the
spin
first board
don't
doesn't count. All right.
7,
Good
7,
plan.
10 on the flop. Board pair would also crush McEwen's threes as Yaki looks for an ace, a king, or a 10 right now.
7. Picture. 7.
Paint card would make the
Paint
sweat
out there.
even bigger.
6 of clubs.
Paint.
It is the jack of spades, so we got that paint card. 16 outs now for Yaki as McEwen dangles above the abyss here, holding on for dear life.
Can we sweat it?
Players looking to sweat the action. Yaki doesn't want to see it. It is the 10 of hearts,
Look, guys.
and the board pairs a second time, crushing the threes of McEwen as Bryce Yaki rakes this one in. As Bryce Yaki finds ace 10, very respectable given his stack size. I'll be pleased to see a hand like this. And there is Samau. The rich continue to receive the big cards. Samau with pocket kings. And we got some trickery on our hands, Donnie.
Yeah, playing this one slow, setting the trap, baby, and this is the trap right here. 10 high flop. Yaki also has that ace of clubs for the backdoor nut flush draw, so this money is probably going in.
Yeah, perfect flop from Yaki's perspective. However, he is yet to find out that Samau is holding the Cowboys here.
10 seconds.
150.
Yaki betting 150, of course, hoping for action here. He's got backdoor clubs, backdoor wheel draw, and top pair, top kicker. All the while, Samau has him dominated. The game of poker can just be so cruel, Donnie.
10 seconds.
Definitely can be. I mean, part of running well is just avoiding like these kind of situations that are essentially unavoidable, right? And there's not too much Yaki can do here. I mean, I think it's really hard to put your opponent on some hands that you're just getting crushed by. You know, like, is Samau really going to play like a 10-4, 10-3, stuff like that? I mean, maybe his most likely holding is probably like pocket, or sorry, 3-4, but he's got the kings here.
Yaki goes for the all-in shove. Samau snaps it off and is keen to table those kings immediately.
Got to fade 5 outs.
Bryce Yaki looking for a way to survive this. 26% equity means he is not dead yet. He's got plenty of backdoor potential here, and the deuce of hearts does give him additional outs. Ace 10 or 5 would save Yaki's tournament life. Otherwise, Samau will be up to over 8 million chips, and we will be three-handed. River card coming. It is the
Good game,
deuce
Bryce.
of clubs. Bryce Yaki eliminated in 4th place.
That's the last hand level. 275.
Seconds.
Samau attacking from the button as Lifshitz finds ace 3 off. She is down to just 7 big blinds. Are we going to see a shove here? The question is answered before I can say the full sentence. Schulman with the insta-fold. Price must be right here for Samau, Donnie.
It's 1.1.
Yeah, I mean,
10 seconds.
seeing the cards, I think the price is right. Samau's got to figure it out. If he thinks he's live, I think he certainly calls here.
I'm almost surprised it's taken him this long.
Time extension.
Lifshitz shove is for 7 big blinds, and there it is. Samao runs the numbers, makes the call, and Victoria Lifshitz tournament life is on the line yet again as the man from Brazil is trying to send her to the rail with King 5 of diamonds. Lifshitz 57% to survive and get back up to 3.6 million, or else will be heads up between arguably the 2 most successful players at this table, and the flop very kind to our chip leader. Samao flopping 2 pair, and it's Lifshitz saving grace that she catches at least a small piece of this flop. A 3 or an ace would still give her the lead, and it's a 4 of clubs on the turn. Lifshitz now also with a wheel draw. So ace, deuce, or 3 for Lifshitz. If she doesn't find one of those, she'll be our 3rd place finisher at the Event 1 final table of this PGT Last Chance series. Is it going to be there? And it is not going to be there.
Good game, Victoria.
It's a king on the river.
Nice playing,
Samao
easy,
fills up, makes a full house.
10 seconds.
All in.
Call.
Wow, look at this. 2 big aces going head-to-head, especially when it comes to heads-up play. Ace-10 for Schulman versus Ace-Jack for Samao. And Samao now rapidly closing in on the trophy as his Ace-Jack is dominating the Ace-10 of Schulman. 5.3 million in the middle. If Schulman wins this one, however, we're going to have a real match on our hands. All right, let's see it. Queen, queen, jack on the flop. Schulman looking for a king to make Broadway as Samao hits a pair of jacks. Schulman goes from 3 outs to 4 outs, so can't be too unhappy with the flop right now. Turn card is the 5 of spades. Schulman drawing to a king and a
Ace.
king only.
Right.
That's fair.
Right.
Ace for the chop. Maybe? River card. The king!
Greedy.
Wow! Schulman
neither.
spikes Broadway,
That was-
and the
that
match
sounded
continues.
Not greedy.
Nick Schulman doubles up to 5.3 million. As is sort of a custom with the big blind ante in play. Not a whole lot of folding going on, which of course brings us to the flop with lots of mediocre hands such as Jack 6, Samao limping in, Schulman checking. Now we're looking at 6, 7, 8 of the, with 2 diamonds on board.
Yeah, not a lot of folding pre-flop. You know, a lot of limping in position. Also not a lot of raising in position. Smell with the best of it here with his pair of 6s. Also has a gutter. Schulman's going to take a stab here. He's got the king of diamonds in his hand. Smel's going to come along. Interesting river card coming up here. And then we just get the 3 of spades.
The river doesn't deliver. Still though, 1.5 million in the middle. Schulman took the betting lead on the turn. Let's see if he wants to continue firing. But how do we read into this texture, Donnie? Does it sort of scare us off from firing again?
And I think if you want to leverage that king of diamonds in your hand, you certainly could here. And look at Schulman. That's a chunky bet. I mean,
All right, so Schulman
3
fires
million.
out 3 million. Twice the size of the pot. Schulman, by far and away the most creative player at this table, willing to make big wagers, making it fun for us to watch. His earlier check raise all in backfired in a terrible way, but it doesn't dissuade him from making a big move, and this one works. Nick Schulman gets away with one, and look at that. The chip stacks have now officially flipped into Schulman's favor. He's up to 7 million. 8-8-4. Samau flopping trips with the ace kicker. Schulman catches a 4, which might be costly, as he might value this pair a little bit, Donnie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not enough here that Samau does flop the trips. His opponent flops a hand as well. And in heads-up play, we can certainly see additional chips going into the pot here. Could it ultimately be a double up for Samau? I mean, let's see how this one proceeds. It looks like we're starting with a check raise here from Schulman.
750.
$111 players total in this event. 2 remain, and Schulman now in a bit of trouble as he raises with the weak pair into trips. And of course, Samau is gladly going to just make this call.
Yeah, just a great spot here for Samau.
Now, Donnie, if we're Schulman here, how do we interpret Samau's call on the flop? It's such a odd texture to find confidence.
Yeah, I mean, he can have some straight draws. He can have a 4 himself. He can have some hands that are like, I mean, let's say
10 seconds.
ace X of diamonds, spades, or clubs,
much?
you know, that have the back doors, stuff like that.
Seconds.
800K from Schulman, and Samau is going to make the call.
All right, 4 million in the middle and a 4 on the river.
Wow.
Oh my God, Schulman makes a full house at the worst possible time. Samau with the top boat and only 2.5 million chips remaining in his stack. Total game changer on the river here, as Schulman will feel very confident about his hand. And there it goes. There it goes. Schulman puts Samau all in. He might quickly double check the cards, but the insta call is going to be made, and Schulman will see the bad news. What an absolute cooler here during heads-up play, and things swinging back into the Brazilians' favor. We got a live stream. We got a live stream again tomorrow as the deuces now get shoved into the middle. Schulman with queen, 8 of spades, 16 big blinds, giving it some thought here.
It feels very similar to the situation that Samau was in a few hands ago when he had the king 8 of spades. Of course, different hand, but one of those ones where it's like right on the line, it feels like. Schulman is going to elect a call.
Schulman makes the call, puts his tournament life on the line with queen 8 of spades. Samau just slightly ahead with the deuces. But mathematically, Schulman actually the favorite here. All right, 9.4 million in the middle. Samau can close this out if his deuces hold up. Here comes the flop. Jack 7-7. Schulman looking for a queen, jack, or 8 to take the lead on the turn. Nine outs twice. Still 38%. Turn card is the 8, and Schulman does take the lead. Samau now down to just 2 outs.
All right.
And are we going to see a flip-flop of the stacks again? Highly likely. Nick Schulman about to be chip leader again. river card is the 6 of spades. And Schulman's back on top. Late night poker in Europe. Who doesn't love it? That's how I grew up, watching poker late at night while playing online myself.
How much is that?
Look at this. The jack deuce shove. Somehow finding himself in a bit of desperation. And Schulman calls it off with jack 7 of spades. And
Deuce.
he's a favorite now to close it out himself. Nick Schulman, 52% to end this thing. But like we saw before, Donnie, with these small kickers, the chop outs are very, very present. Here comes the flop. King 6-6. Speaking of chops, it's out there. Samau looking for a deuce. Schulman looking for small cards that are not a deuce in order for his 7 to remain in play and seal the deal for him. Can he find some low cards? And that's a very good one, because Schulman not only finds a low card to keep his 7 alive, he also picks up a spade draw, making it a little bit easier
Jack, yeah.
for him to end it.
Yeah. That's the weirdest one.
All right, here comes the river. It's the 7 of clubs, and Schulman does it. He comes out on top in the first event of the 2025 PGT Last Chance Series. He'll take home the trophy on the table, and of course, the first place prize of $285,000